Thank you for tuning in. This is Lovely Ann, and this is one of my podcasts. Thank you for tuning in. This is Lovely Ann, and this is one of my podcasts about nothing much. Just two people sitting back and bullshitting. This podcast is for those with high IQs of at least 4 brain cells or more. This podcast contains adult content, adult language, and mature topics. You must have 4 brain cells or more to listen to this podcast. The following is a podcast pretty much about nothing, really. My classmate and I talk about anything and everything under the moon. So please enjoy my conversation with Aaron.
Talking about the homeless and this little video here. So yeah, how can we improve society for the homeless?
Improve society for the homeless is basically you kind of need fucking housing, because that's what they need first is housing. But the programs that are out there for the homeless is to keep them homeless. It's not geared towards getting them to be at a higher level. So it makes it kind of fucking hard to not want to be homeless when they're making it. And I ran out of time.
That's right. Like literally 5 takes. It's going to take 5 takes to nail it. So yeah, but I like what you're saying. So let's run that back and boom.
Okay, well, this is going to be a synchronize for all the cameras. You didn't start recording, did you? This is going to be a synchronize for all the cameras. Can you talk in your mic to synchronize?
Yo, synchronized.
Okay.
We synchronizing up. So you just press the red button when you're ready to talk about.
Yeah. Okay, well, this is going, I don't like being, can you move that camera just a little bit this way? It still puts me off.
You don't want to be on camera.
I hate fucking being on camera. I don't like pictures of myself and shit.
Really?
I am behind the camera type of person and body and personality and all that fucking shit.
I'm shocked and appalled.
Why?
Because I would have thought you would have been like a porn star on the side of you.
Fuck you. No. I fucking hate being on camera. I'd rather be the one taking the pictures, doing all that shit. And I can't look at you with these glasses on. I'm only a reading glasses person, but it looks better on camera if I have glasses on. But
don't be so self-critical. I think you look great.
Thank you for being polite. Because see, that's also what I feel when everybody gives a compliment. They're just doing it out of politeness, not because they actually mean it. So,
but don't tempt me because I'll go harder.
Let me record this. Okay. Which then we can go right into discussing this issue, because I can talk for 1.5 years on the homeless bullshit.
Yeah, let's talk about how can you improve society for the homeless. I need ideas on that.
Oh, I got a shitload of fucking ideas.
Can you condense it down to 20 seconds?
Well, I can give you the recordings of this, and then you can go and edit.
Well, this is literally a challenge, like to condense your thoughts to 20. I know that's very difficult to do, but it requires multiple takes, organizing your thoughts.
The problem is it sounds better in my head, and it never comes out that way. Same thing with all my writing and shit. It plays beautifully in the head, but when I try to translate it onto paper or typing it and shit, which typing is worse than writing it down, but it fucking sucks toes turds.
Well, when you want to avoid using the word fuck.
No, I don't.
Only
on your project? Okay.
Only when you're trying to bring everybody.
You do know that science has proven that if you cuss on a regular basis, you have a higher intelligence than everybody else.
It sounds like Colin Farrell. Like, have you heard that guy in person? He's just like, I'm fucking sailing, fucking fuck. Like, it's like amazing. Okay, so we're talking about how to improve society for the homeless. Lovely Ann, take it away.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out why it's saying the eject my thing.
Oh, it's ready, Eric.
Okay.
Eject your thing.
It says disk not ejected properly. Eject before disconnecting or turning it off, but I didn't try to disconnect it. I think it's disconnecting itself. But any which way, okay, record. The first thing you need to get rid of homelessness is fucking housing. And government people that don't steal the money that's given for housing and then blame it on other things and then try to make it illegal to be homeless. But also all the programs that are out there for the homeless are only geared to keep you homeless.
See, that was pretty condensed, but now we have to hear that back and see if you sound like you know what you're talking about. Ready?
Not like a raving idiot. The first thing you need to get rid of homelessness is fucking housing. And government people that don't steal the money that's given for housing and then blame it on other things and then try to make it illegal to be homeless. But also all the programs that are out there for the homeless are only geared to keep you homeless. The first thing you need to get rid of homelessness is
Okay.
housing.
How do you feel about that, Lovely Ann? Did you nail it? I like it.
You can post it.
Wait. Right here.
That don't steal the money that's given for housing and then blame it on other things and then try to make it illegal to be homeless.
See, that's right there. Make it illegal to be homeless.
Well, our governor of California is trying to pass a bill or get the California government to pass a bill that, oh, wow, this one's going to be fun. It basically is making a mental court through the civil court system, and any homeless person can be subject to it. There's loopholes, though. One, it's not just the homeless that can be subject to it. If you decide that your girlfriend's getting on your fucking nerves and you just want a break or whatever, you can go report her even if she has housing, and she will be subject to the mental courts. Then it is saying, and he's telling people publicly, oh, but they have the right to deny it. No, they don't, because there's a loophole in there that says if you deny what the mental court says, then you are subject to the criminal courts and you get a criminal charge and you go to jail.
Wow.
So,
wow.
How is that? Because that's basically.
So you can put anybody in jail.
Pretty much. If they deny that they have a mental disability or whatever. But also, as a disabled person, I am autistic. I have severe PTSD and shit like that from my childhood. Just by those alone, I would be subject to this court system, housing or not. And that means if I disagree with them and being put into an institution, which I'm sorry, I grew up in institutions as a foster kid. I don't want to fucking go to them. I will flip the fuck out and stuff. I don't like being restrained. I don't like being confined. I don't like being controlled. And that's what those things do. And it brings up my PTSD to the point where I go fucking ballistics and stuff. And I know that it would be a very bad thing, but unfortunately, the way our laws work, if they pass it, the only way to get rid of it, every time you do that, it makes noise.
It's okay, right?
No.
It's not okay?
It sucks for editing.
Right. You don't want to hear the Coke splash?
No.
Okay.
But
we'll say it again then.
What sucks is that if they do pass this law in California, the only way to override it is for it to go to a Supreme Court, which means somebody has to be willing to fight it all the way to the end and not take a plea deal to get out of it. Because a lot of people don't understand that the way our laws are made, the U.S. government makes the Constitution and stuff.
Right.
And the states make their own, and each one, they can't abridge past what the U.S. Constitution does and says. But if they do make laws like this one that we're talking about, then it has to be the court system to overrule it. And it has to be all the way up to the Supreme Court to actually get rid of the law.
Right, like Roe
versus Wade.
Yeah, I mean, that's the perfect example. We just overturned, a woman's right to choose, basically. Just happened. And And now how long is it going to take to get that right back?
Pretty much Congress is going to have to make a new law, because the sad part is that I'm learning in my Law 3 class, there is no oversight to the Supreme Court. The U.S. Supreme Court is it. So the only way to bypass their fucking decisions when they fuck up is to have the U.S. government make new laws that actually outweigh them. Basically making it clear women have the right to their fucking body and type. Then that court law no longer rules. But
I still, I can't even fathom that actually happened it's like the year 2000 now, right? And we overturned that law. It's really depressing to me.
Well, it's the problem with the so-called woke community. I'm sorry, and it's also part of your generation, because I believe you're like 20-some years younger than me, 30-some years younger than me. How old are you?
Think, I'm 35.
Are you? I would have put you in your late 20s, but you're still way younger than I am. I'm almost old enough to be your mommy. Okay.
That's probably why I like you. No,
I hate parent figures. but the younger generation wants to bitch and say that we didn't do anything to improve society and that we're the fuck ups and we're the ones that caused all the problems. But I hate the concept of everyone saying that Trump wants to make America good again. No, America was never fucking good, but are great. Okay, sorry. I even got the fucking saying wrong.
No, I mean,
I'll make it great
Trump
again. I don't give it. All politicians can go fuck off, because none of them. You can't do that in the mic.
Okay.
Especially if I'm talking, then it's
I'll
in
take
the
this.
background.
Why'd you give me food before we started? Go ahead.
I think all politicians need to fuck up, because they don't give a shit about us. I don't care if they're Republican or Democrat. They don't care about the small people, the people that actually works and shit. All they care about is how much money can you put in my pocket? Because people don't realize once upon a time, politicians didn't get paid more than what their lowest wage was in their area. So if they were mayor of Los Angeles, they got the lowest pay in Los Angeles County.
Right.
If they were the governor of California, they got the lowest pay in California and stuff. And that's how it should be, because then they would actually be fighting for us, not the corporations.
But now they're balling.
Yeah. And because the corporations put money in their pockets and stuff, and that makes them too fucking corrupt. They don't give a shit about us. And I forgot what we were originally talking about.
I mean, like, it needs to be said that the government sucks. And yeah. I mean, how can we improve our government? In your
demolish it and start over?
Well, here's the thing that we got to remember, that the way our U.S. Constitution is set up, we have a government that's long-lasting. It's the longest-lasting government since, the British. It's over 200 years. So I'm just saying, like, we have a government structure that is
flawed, based on societies that were already flawed.
Yeah, but there's always going to be flaws. So
yes, but the problem is when you don't want to improve, because the best government society, the best society will look at all societies, not just their own, and say, okay, this is working here. This is working
take a little
here.
Bit from everything.
Yes, and admit when you're fucking wrong. And our government won't admit when they're wrong, because that's back to the original point about the woke people. We were never 100% a great nation, but we were greater than other nations. We tend to forget that there are other nations that still have racism and still have slavery. We don't. So these so-called woke people and we have sex trafficking and shit like that, but they have plain out slavery. Yeah. No, slavery. It's legal in some countries. 100% legal for you to buy and sell a humanoid. So, and people forget that, because we are in the public eye, so we get more of the scrutiny than other countries. Mexico mistreats Native Americans or indigenous people more than we do.
Well,
and we are ferocious to my people and stuff.
Mexico is Mexico, though. That, like, it's hardcore in Mexico. Once you cross the border, there's only a few places that are...
But you can't tell us that we're not improving when other countries aren't improving and stuff. And then you come here and tell us to be like your country. And I'm sorry, your country was fucked up. That's why you fled.
That's why you came here in the first place, right? But, and, you know, the United States is a big place, and it does have areas. Like, I mean, I'm tend to always think about the deep South and some of the rooted things that we have to overcome.
Yeah, but one of the problems, I travel a lot.
Yeah.
I've lived in 9 states.
Okay, I want to hear about this.
And after this last road trip that I did, I can say that I only need to drive in Alaska and Hawaii, and then I can say I've driven in every single state in the United States.
Wow, good for you. That's awesome.
I've actually seen different places and interacted with different types of people. And the sad part is people in cities like Los Angeles tend to be stuck in their own idealism as to what is appropriate and what's not. Because when I first went to Georgia, the very first building I went into, business that I went into, there was a Confederate flag sitting on the counter at the receptionist desk. And nobody was around. There wasn't a single person in there, but I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be a fucked up environment. This is going to be some backward ass shit. And am I going to have to cuss somebody out? A black chick walked up, sat down at the desk in front of the Confederate flag and the computer, assisted me. She was very nice. And at the end, I'm like, I'm sorry, I have to ask. Are you not offended by that Confederate flag sitting in front of your face? She got pissed at me. She's like, this is my flag. But if I tell anybody, any black people or any so-called woke people in LA or any other areas, they're like, well, she was white whipped, or she was whatever the derogatory words were that they use to say that she was basically encompassing the slavery that her people went through, not listening to her points of views. This is her. This is her point of view.
Right.
We automatically assume you have to take on our points of views, even though we don't live in your community. And it shouldn't be that way. You shouldn't degrade somebody else for what they want. But that also goes to the cancel culture. Everybody wants to cancel somebody for what they did 10, 20, 50 years ago and shit.
Yeah.
My thing is if I find out that saying something is wrong and I still do it, then fucking cancel me.
Right.
But if I find out what I'm saying is offensive, it's wrong, and it's not the truth, and I change, then you go fuck off. Because I've grown. Did you grow?
Well, it's like, where have the majority of the wars happened over the last, 10 years? It's Iraq and Iran and everywhere over there. So it to a similar point, it's like their policies are different from our policies, so we're going to invade. No, the real issue there is oil, but, it's all about, comes back to money and government trying to do whatever it takes. I mean, government's corrupt, we all know. But there's still some good politicians or endeavoring to be good under the system that we've created. Yeah. So we got to find where we can modify ourselves.
Well, that's why I said that we need to abolish it, because Republicans and Democrats is the longest political parties that's standing. Usually they don't last that long. They usually evolve and stuff. And for some reason, we're clinging on to them. They're switching positions.
I 100% agree that is to our detriment for sure. Because with Republicans and Democrats, it's just, how long are we going to have a two-party system? I mean, this is literally, I think, what the forefathers were afraid of, is a two-party system. Because it's like, okay, you're either over here, you're over there. Do you believe in like, all this stuff is like ridiculous to a certain extent. Grouping like a political point of view with religion and
Yes.
abort. That makes
That shit
no
needs to be kept
sense.
separate.
100%. That should have nothing to do with the people. I mean, it really. The most important thing when I elect somebody is, are they a good human being? We elected Donald Trump, who I don't think is a good human being. And that was the problem. I believe Barack Obama, from everything that I've seen, the way he treats his wife, from that relationship alone, I can be like, okay, he's a good human being. I can get behind him.
And see, I'm different because I know from my childhood experience, what is seen in public is not always what it is behind the doors. But also for the Barack Obama, I don't like him because Obamacare. When Obamacare came out.
Oh, I love Obamacare.
See, and the only people that liked Obamacare are those that were middle class and were paying out of the ass for insurance, or those who had existing medical conditions. Those of us that were in poverty or homeless got fucked.
Well, believe me, I'd rather have a Canadian healthcare system.
Yeah.
But
third world countries have free medical, but yet we can't have it.
Like,
third world countries have free education, but we can't.
It's absolutely insane. We're trillions of dollars in debt. I mean, there's so many things. It's like, this is how corrupt our government is. It's like, how can you be trillions of dollars in debt and yet you're coming after the little guy? You know, like it's
It used to be that anything over 10,000 they tracked. Now it's over 500 they track, and that's almost everybody's paycheck.
It's unfathomable that the government isn't held to the same standards as the average person.
No, it's not, and it is sad because I would rather pay more in taxes than have to figure out how to pay all these things. Because even like car insurance, California voted several times that you cannot use our credit score. You cannot use our zip code to determine how much we pay in car insurance. But they do. They still they found a loophole to still use your zip code to determine how much you pay for car insurance. I just got denied by Geico and Allstate because of my credit score, which is from stolen identity. 20 years ago, I got tired of paying this shit off. That wasn't mine. Mm-hmm. After the fourth time of paying the same fucking bills, I said no more. I'd rather live in fucking poverty the rest of my fucking life and pay cash for shit than have to do that. But it also means I can't get jobs that I went to college for. I got 9 fucking degrees I can't use because they require you to have a perfect credit score in order to get jobs. You want to know why people are homeless? Because of shit like that. Because criminals go after the poor. They don't go after the rich, because if they were going after the rich and stealing their identity, they would actually see jail time.
Not too shabby, huh?
I told you I can go up on rants on a bunch of different fucking shit.
I drink a Coke on camera.
We're going to take a break anyways because I need to wet my whistle. Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah. So, are we getting back in?
We just went X-rated. No. You do know that X-rated was originally the R-rated?
X-rated and R-rated.
Because it was actually the Catholic Church that made the ratings for films. Yeah. And if it was adult, any type of adult, it was X-rated.
Right.
R-rated didn't come in until later on.
And then we got, what about NC-17? And what is that?
They're new copyrights, because in order to put PG or G or any R-rated, the ratings, the Catholic Church actually started them. And they copywrote them in order to get them put in your films, which for a long time you couldn't release a film without it. You had to pay them, and people got tired of it. So some people created their own and stuff. And then some are nowadays are now allowed to be released without them. I actually made my own for mine, and I call it brain cells. The number of brain cells determine on the age. But PG-13 came around with Raiders of the Lost Ark, or those series.
Yeah.
Because
Indiana Jones.
Yeah, because they were told they could either have R or PG, but they had certain words or certain things that put them into the R. And it's like, no, I want kids to see this. I want teenagers to see it. So that's why they made PG-13. It's still, young enough for the kid audience, but you put the 13 saying you need to be a little bit more mature and stuff. And that's why they also have like different R's with 17 or whatever, because it's still adult oriented, but
I haven't seen any of those recently. I think they
because you have to pay for them.
Oh.
They're copywritten. It's like taking somebody's song and put it in your projects. You can't without paying for it.
Oh.
All those are paid for. That's why some of the studios came up with their own rating systems, or some are now allowed to be released without it. For a long time, the Catholic Church controlled what was released and made it rule that you had to put a rating on your film project for it to be released to the public, which means they got paid.
The Catholic Church?
Yeah, the Catholic Church is the one that created the rating systems.
What?
They're the ones that determined, was it too risque? And now they just have like an ethics board that tells them that this can go on TV, this can't go on TV. You can say this, but you can't say this and type shit.
But now, if you listen to radio, it's beyond risque, isn't it?
It depends. There have been certain things that have been changing and stuff. So now certain words.
OnlyFans. I mean, it's everywhere. Like the level of censorship is way down.
Well, yeah. It also depends on where it's at. Is it on a radio station that you turn on in your car and can listen to? Is it a radio station by satellite that you got to pay extra for? Or is it on an app? Which is one of the reasons why some states are trying to limit the social media apps and stuff. Because, like, let's talk TikTok, because that's what we were doing at the beginning was TikTok. And states are trying to ban them, which I'm sorry, even if they do ban it, they can't ban it. Because there's no way to actually say, okay, you're in these borders, the app stops working. The app still works. They're just relying on people to be dumb enough to say, okay, we're not allowed on there and do it. Just like the gun control laws. I'm sorry, gun control law only works for law-abiding citizens, not the criminals. But
100%.
That's basically it. But one of the reasons is China gives us the algorithm to where we see all the dumb shit and not the intellectual shit that's on there and stuff. And I pretty much don't go on there much anyways because they ban everything that I say or do. So
TikTok?
Yeah, I lost my original account.
Wow.
Because I talk about autism, I talk about disabilities, I talk about discrimination, the homeless, and shit like that. And I say fuck, shit, bitch, asshole, cunt, all that shit.
Maybe that's why you got banned.
Too fucking bad. If you don't like it, don't you, like they say, swipe.
I hear what you're saying. However, TikTok was originally created, I think, with kids in mind.
Really? That's supposed to be a kid platform?
It's a kid's platform.
There's too many pedophiles on there.
Well, that's what happens to every platform. It seems like Facebook, MySpace. Remember MySpace before Facebook? So yeah.
You do know, I'm 46. I remember all that shit.
What else? Was there Squarespace? I don't know what. There's a lot of spaces. But the point is there's a lot of creepers out there, and we need the government to come in and change the way they are.
But the sad part is other platforms are starting to mimic TikTok and stuff, trying to get the traffic to them. I like Instagram because of the pictures. Yes, occasionally I do post videos and shit, and it's too damn easy. But I joined Instagram because of pictures. I like pictures. I don't like being in them.
Well, you made that clear. You made that very clear. Oh man, I feel like Instagram. I grew up on Instagram, kind of as the main thing. So yeah, I'm more into Instagram as well. But TikTok, if you look at the revenue streams, which our society judging everything by money, the TikTok is just like hyper. So
it's also the new thing, and as soon as another platform comes out, then that's going to be the new thing.
That's tech in general, right? It has that window of but it still stays relevant, or at least recently with Facebook had longevity. So Facebook managed to stay relevant.
Well, the only reason Facebook is actually still relevant is because it allows people to talk into group settings. That's the only reason Facebook stays relevant. But they're getting rid of that and changing their algorithm so you don't even see the people that you're on your friends list. When my algorithm of what I see on Facebook, half the people on there aren't who I follow.
But you touched on something like that. That's a great point. Algorithms, though, like that is really something on all these platforms. And with like TikTok algorithm, like you scroll and you look at something one time, and then all of a sudden this is what you get, and
you get the same fucking commercials over and over because you looked at it once. I looked at it once. It means I'm done looking at it.
It's scary for sure.
But yeah, but it is making our kids, because like Common Core. I've done substitute teaching. You know what Common Core is?
Tell me about it.
I did substitute teaching in Georgia and Missouri and a few other states. And I'm not the brightest in the world. I say that I'm one of the smartest dumb people you'll ever meet and stuff because I know what I know. And if I haven't learned the subject, I don't know. Because growing up, I didn't have an education. My education did not start until I got to college. And the first several years of college was my elementary, my junior high, my high school, and then college and stuff. That's one of the reasons I make up and get so many college degrees and still trying to seek for more.
Yeah, I mean, I wish college started in elementary because you have choice. And that's what people lack in our school system, I think, a little bit. I mean, among other things.
Well, they also assume that everybody learns the same way and that they learn at the same pace and stuff. And they don't take into consideration us foster kids. We fucking move a lot. I moved over 40 times before I was 18. How the hell do you learn anything when you're moving so much?
It's impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, and like we have these systems in place and we don't even know like who an individual is, like you're saying. So
yeah, but because like some countries, that's why I go back to you take what works in places and you use it. In some countries, they have it to where everybody starts off in the same. They learn each subject and stuff. If you excel at one, you move on. If you don't excel, you stay there until you do learn it. But if you excel in your English, but not in your math, your English you excel at. Your math, you go slower pace until you get there and stuff. But also in college, what the fuck do I need algebra for to be a filmmaker? What the fuck do I need?
Preach, sister, preach.
It's a waste of fucking money.
It's a weeding out process. This is my personal opinion that I've come to, and it's because it's disgusting. It's disgusting. I was an English major for the longest time, and I was into it. I mean, I did film as well, so there you go. Yeah. I'll tell you everything about film. But yeah, the point is that you shouldn't need math if you're trying to go in a direction of the exact opposite.
Yeah. Well, even their programs that they have don't actually gear you towards an actual degree and or to the field that you want. Because like the producing certificate that you get here has nothing to fucking to do with producing.
And that's another thing, like the labeling of things. Here, let's have classes that say, I want to be the guy in the room that comes up with the idea for the commercial. I want to be the idea guy.
That's an ad campaign person.
That's what, but I'm just saying, like, we have all these classes that can take you so many directions, but where's the class of what I need? And that's, I guess, like UCLA extension type stuff, But
see, you shouldn't have to do that. If you're going for a degree, that degree should make you ready for that career.
Right.
And it's not, because like when the economy failed around 2007, I was getting a bachelor's in criminal justice because I was told that I could use it for criminal justice or social work. But when the economy crashed, fuck that. Social work then said, no, you need to have a degree that says social work. And then to top it off, they said, no, it's a BA is no longer good enough. You need a master's. And that happens when the economy drops, because when the economy drops and the jobs go away, people go back to school. So the schools know that they could start charging more, that they can make it specialized, saying you have to do this, you have to do that.
And I remember the Starbucks people, like the master's degree guy working at Starbucks. He's like, well, this is the only job I can get.
Yeah.
And it's like, what does the degree actually get you now? And is it worth becoming in debt for if the school that you're going to doesn't even market you to the job you need to be, doesn't even help you really achieve that job?
No, and it depends, because there are some jobs that if you don't have a fucking degree, I'm sorry, you're not working for me or doing the job for me, like lawyers and doctors, shit like that. You better have gone to fucking school.
Sure.
And I think you need to keep taking classes to update yourself on the new stuff that comes out, because I've have some doctors that are fucking stupid. I know more shit just by Googling it than they fucking do.
Yeah, and maybe that's an issue as well, because nowadays you can just look anything up in the, with Chat GPT, for example. You heard about this?
I don't know what the fuck that is. What is it?
Well, it's the
made by
cutting edge,
Chad.
it's the cutting edge technology that we were talking about before that is scary, because now you have a computer program where you literally plug in any question known to man, and it already knows. It analyzes all text across all literature everywhere, and so you can.
But see,
do
there's
anything.
a problem with that, because it, just as you said, it analyzes the text that was written by humans, and how much of the shit out there is fiction, not real, or opinionated.
Right,
So,
and how does it decipher that, right? But
Yeah.
but it should have
because the way
it's
religion
fact straight.
turns from a cult to a religion is enough people believing it. That's what's the difference between a cult and a religion.
Right.
The more the number of people believe it, it's a religion. The least amount of people that believe it is a cult. I don't know. Do you remember David Koresh?
well, that's,
Waco, Texas?
remind me.
He was basically considered the new Jesus. Even wore his hair like it, made himself look as much as Jesus-y as all possible. But he had like a shitload of weapons and stuff, and he set some stuff off inside of the compound in Waco, Texas, in order to, when the military breached them, or not the military, the FBI breached them, that it exploded. So it looked like the FBI killed them all. And when they actually, most of them were already dead from self-inflicted things and stuff,
Yeah.
they were considered an occult. But if they had enough believers, they could become a religion. Because who's to say that the religions that we have now that are the dominant ones didn't start off as an occult, and they just ended up with more believers, and over time it kept blowing up and blowing up and blowing up.
Well,
So
I
who's to
think-
say in 100 years that David Koresh doesn't become the new Jesus?
It's impossible not to say. I mean, you talk about Scientology. If you
I
have,
started on a fucking bed in a bathroom for $1.
I mean, you already said it. You already said it. It's like, if you have the money to fund it, then you have the backing, you can push anything.
Yeah, and if you
that's
get the
power-
rich people behind you, you got gold.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the campaign slogans and how smear campaigns on each other. It's like, who can fuck up the other candidate
Yeah,
worse? And
it's
then we'll
basically
let that guy.
propaganda. Who's better at it? Because, like, as fucked up as Hitler was, he did one thing right. He knew how to use propaganda to get his point across and to make you believe what he was saying. And that's the problem with politicians and religion and shit. All they need is the right words to convince people, and they've got a cult following for life. And each generation going after them gets trained in that shit.
Poor Hitler, man. We should have. I'm Jewish, by the way, so fuck Hitler. But if he would have just got accepted to the school, art school, he just wanted to be an artist.
No. It actually, there's always this theory.
Is that not?
Do you
true?
kill Hitler baby or do you kill adult Hitler? You don't kill either one of them. You kill the guys that were before him who got a hold of him and put shit into his head, because his dad's side of the family was the Jewish rich people. his dad left them or died or whatever, and his mom became a single parent Jewish or German woman raising him in poverty. His dad's side of the family would not fucking help. Some other German adults got a hold of him in a young enough age to influence him. So when you go and talk about, do you kill baby Hitler or adult Hitler, you kill the fucking adults because they're going to find another one. You start with where the root was. Because even if you killed Hitler, they would have went and whispered in somebody else's ears that was going through the same shit and telling them, well, you know, your life would be better if the Jewish people weren't here. They're taking all the money. And when you grow up with that, you believe that shit. So it's not baby Hitler or adult Hitler you take out. You take out the men or the women that is whispering into baby Hitler's ears.
The whisperers.
Yes.
But still, if he got accepted to art school.
Yeah, he was a great artist. He loved women.
I think, you know, that could have changed history.
Yeah, it would have definitely changed history, but they would have found somebody else. So, yeah.
Are you talking about who are the whisperers?
The adults that were his mentors.
His parents?
No, his mom had nothing to do with it. It was some local guys in the community that were also down on their luck.
But was it right after he got rejected?
No, it started before. It started in his teenage years.
Bummer.
And I think the rejection might have been the straw that broke the camel's back type deal.
Yeah.
And they probably were whispering, well, you know, the reason you got rejected was because of the Jewish people and shit. Because, like, one of the things that my law professor, Law 3 class here at LACC pointed out is that no matter anywhere in history, when you have a large migration of a group of people, you hate them no matter what. No matter if they're good people, bad people, whatever, and then you blame all your woes on that group. And that's what starts the prejudice and hatred and stuff. Because even California did that during the Great Depression and all the dust storms that blew out all the farmlands and stuff. All those people migrated to California, and Californians were like, fuck you all. Why are you coming here and ruining our society? They're now doing it to the homeless and the poor people that, I'm sorry, when I was 20, not a few years after getting out of foster care, I was homeless in Michigan in the middle of the fucking winter with snow up to my waist. Do you think I'm going to stay there and try to figure out where to sleep in the snow and freeze my ass off? No, I walked to fucking California so I would be in warmer weather to be homeless. Yes, it might sound stupid to some people, but homeless in cold weather and risk dying in the middle of the night while you sleep, or homeless in a state that normally, besides this year, is warm and has less elements to have to worry about other than too much heat, which is also why people go towards the ocean and not out into the valley where they're trying to force all the homeless people. But any migration of a group of people, politicians, are going to use that to help you bitch about not having anything. Because we're also taught that if you have one thing more than the next person, you're better than them. When we're not, I've always had this saying, and it pisses people off sometimes, and a few people get it. You are not superior to me. You are my equal, because there is nobody superior to me. I don't give a shit if you have more money than me. You are not superior to me. I don't care if you have more education.
This I love.
You're not superior to me. You might be more intelligent. You might have a better job. You might have more, but that doesn't make you superior to me. And the only reason I'm superior to you is because you allow it. Because that's how you feel. Not because I make myself superior to you, but because you put somebody in that position. Nobody is superior to me. I don't give a fucking ass who you are. I even say that about my religion and people get pissed. I'm like, no, they have more intelligence than I do. They have more abilities than I do. That doesn't make them superior to me.
See, that's what I want you to do for society standards right there.
Oh, I can do that.
Really good.
But yeah, people get pissed off at me for saying that. They're like, that, and I'm like, no. They're only superior to you because you allow them to make you feel that way.
But that also comes from, because think of the things you just mentioned are all monetary-based things.
Yeah.
It's the society structure that we've created for ourselves where money is the only thing that matters. And it's marketed that way. The way we pay, just coming to mind, athletes versus a doctor. It's like,
or a
wait,
teacher.
or a teacher, or yeah. I mean, believe me, I have videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the structure, well, entertainment
Yeah.
is rated above anything else, apparently. So it's the amount of revenue you can generate. That's how you're getting paid, versus how important your contribution to society actually is, and who is measuring that.
Yes.
And obviously the government has the ability to change,
But they're not going to, because their pockets get laced.
but it's not even that hard to change who gets paid what, especially when you're trillions of dollars in debt, and clearly you can print your own money anyways. So
Money is irrelevant. We made money worth something.
to trade.
Yes.
To trade. So you have something, I want to give you, this, what is this car worth in money? What is this pencil worth in money? Like, is it valuable? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
I also keep telling people we live in an I society. And Native Americans, my ancestors, used to live in a we society. It was the community that came together. Everybody pitched in. Everybody did something. And I don't like the story about the person that's trying to get some food and nobody wants to help them out. So they set in a pot up and start cooking in the middle of the community, and has water boiling and has stones in there, and pretends like it's really good soup. And then everyone's like, oh, they're making rock soup. How great. That must be really, really good. And they try to come and get some. They're like, no, you didn't put anything in here. You don't get nothing. So they're like, okay, well, I got some potatoes. I'll give you some potatoes. Okay, go get them, put them in. Next person has some carrots. One person has some meat. And it comes together as a community meal that everybody gets to eat.
come together, right? So yeah, I mean, I think we touched on a lot of great topics.
Yeah, and I know you got to go to class.
Do have to go to class and learn about screen printing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's not one of the topics I know or want to know. But
I don't like it, but as we were talking about,
it's one of the requirements for the degree.
and it has nothing to do with what I want to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's change that.
It would say the people that don't believe in college education and shit would be more apt to paying for generalized college education, because I think up to your bachelor's should be free. I think your associates, your bachelor's, your trade schools and stuff should be free. If you want to go higher, I think you should have to pay for it and stuff. But I think those should be free classes and stuff like that.
Well, why can't, it all be free until
Because you're going to get people like me that have 9 fucking college degrees and then still is in college.
No, but hear me out here. Hear me out. This might be a groundbreaking topic. School is free everywhere.
No, it's not.
Hold on. This is the groundbreaking idea. Let me finish.
It's your idea, not saying fact.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
This is an idea that might, just tell me what you think, and we'll end on this because I have to go. School is free everywhere, and you pay a percentage to the school after you have a job.
That's what student loans are.
So yeah, a percentage of your check goes to the school for however many years, wherever you get work.
And it should be based on your income. Because that's like a lot of countries.
What do you think about that?
I think
potential?
out of taxes, yeah. And again, that should be based on your income. And because also I believe that there shouldn't be private boarding schools and shit. I think everybody should get trained together. I think it's Iceland or Sweden. I forget which country it is that I was told that they don't allow boarding schools. They don't care if you're poor or you're rich. You all go to the same school. That way, parents don't give extra privilege to one, because that could actually get rid of our segregations or our what do you call it when you give a leg up to somebody just because of their ethnicity? The affirmative action type shit. You could get rid of that by simply giving the same education to everybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the things of you take what works in places and you implement it. And when it doesn't work, you alter it. Okay. We didn't bother to tell anybody your name.
Oh, I'm Aaron Barth Marchinson. Yeah, Google me. No. Yeah.
Well, let's do
That's
a real quick intro because I forgot to do one. And I get told that we're supposed to do intros and recordings and all this other stuff.
Let's do it.
Thank you for joining me today. My name is Lovely Ann, and I am here with a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm chewing nuts on the microphone. Can you hear it? Lovely Ann said not to do that, but okay. I'm Aaron Barth Martinson, and I have yogurt and nuts in my mouth. Anyways.
He said nuts in his mouth.
I did. I did. Luckily, I'm very confident with my sexuality, so I can say that.
Well, you know the best sex is a girl with two guys that's not afraid to touch each other.
Huh. See, I would have said a guy with two girls. But
I'm not really into chicks. I like tits and stuff like that, but I'm sorry. I like dick.
Well, should we turn the cameras off?
Well, you do have to turn them off because you got to go. But since you turned them on, you got to turn them off because I don't know how to turn them off. And I wish you all the best. Signing out.